Let me tell you about the Atlanta DA, Paul Howard. Now, Paul Howard is the guy that said, you know, the cop that shot the guy that took the taser from the other cop, he's been charged with murder. In fact, his stepmother, or his, is it his stepmother or, I think it is. His stepmother has been fired. I think only because she was the stepmother of this cop. Really? Welcome to America 2020, gang. Things are completely out of control. Now, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation that was investigating this, they were asked by the DA to investigate. Well, they've been investigating. They haven't even turned anything in yet, and the DA has just decided, I'm going for murder. Did anybody see that shooting? Because that wasn't murder. But I guess it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter because the Atlanta DA, Paul Howard, is fighting for his political life. He's currently under investigation by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation for his alleged use of a nonprofit to funnel at least $140,000 in City of Atlanta funds to supplement his salary. Oh, yeah, and he's also facing multiple sexual harassment lawsuits. This guy's a prince. And then there's this. The State Ethics Commission is alleging that Howard committed a dozen violations of public disclosure law. Investigation allegedly reveals violations spanning for 5 years. So it kind of puts into perspective why this guy is using the emotions of African Americans to go so tough on the cops. Oh, man. A man on probation who failed a sobriety test, who had just left prison for beating children. He fought and attacked the police, stole one of their weapons, it was a taser, and fired it at them. I'm curious, what the hell did the DA expect the police to do? What was it? What would have justified deadly force in his mind? What if the taser fired by Brooks would have incapacitated one of the officers? What if Brooks then went back and picked up their gun? Because that's why the police have to use deadly force once they get any kind of weapon. And one of the officers is down. All of it was possible, and it all happened in about a 2-second span. The DA said the shooting was unjustified because tasers aren't considered deadly weapons. Wow, really? Because that's not what he believed 2 weeks ago when he charged 6 police officers with aggravated assault for using a taser against protesters. I want you to listen to what he said just a couple of weeks ago.
And charged with aggravated assault of Ms. Pilgrim, and this is for pointing a taser at Mrs. Pilgrim. And as many of you all know, under Georgia law, a taser is considered as a deadly weapon under Georgia law.
So these police officers pointed a taser. This guy actually shot a cop with his own taser. And now it's not a deadly weapon. Now, either he's had a change of heart, or he changes his stance on deadly force whenever it fits his political ambitions. I think it's pretty clear to see which one it is. In officer-involved shootings, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation is required to investigate and submit a report to the district attorney, but the DA didn't consult with a GBI. Their formal statement yesterday said GBI was not aware of the press conference before it was conducted. We were not consulted on the charges filed by the district attorney. Despite today's occurrence, the GBI will complete its mission of completing an impartial and thorough investigation of this incident, and it will submit the file, once completed, to the Fulton County District Attorney's office. But see, he can't wait because he's waiting for re-election. He hopes that the GBI will come back and say, what are you doing? So he can be the man, as a black man, a very corrupt black official who is ripping his own people off, taking money from the city illegally. Oh, he's fighting for you. Oh, sure. Because he's fighting multiple sexual harassment lawsuits, a formal investigation by the GBI, fighting off official ethics complaints. He's just going to weaponize. He's going to weaponize this story. Why? Because he wants power. Atlanta cops, I don't know why you're still on the job. I really don't. They're calling in sick, some of them, refusing to answer calls, some of them. I don't blame you at all. I think you're being used, your lambs led to the slaughter by somebody who's supposed to be on your side, and all because of dirty, corrupt politics. Do you know that Atlanta already has a hard time getting officers to join the Atlanta police? They already have. You know what? You know who they've started to interview and hire because they can't get anybody? Convicted felons can now become police officers in Atlanta. Oh, that's going to work out really well. Really well. You got to see this, all of this, for what it is. People aren't looking for the truth anymore. Do you hear the story coming out of Oakland? Mayor Libby Schaaf. Oh, well, I think I might just have a case of the vapors. I'm Libby Schaaf, and I can't tolerate these nooses hanging from the trees at Lake Merritt. Whoa, wait, what? Oakland? Somebody's hanging nooses from the trees? Now, there is a serious problem. That is a real sign of racism. That's a problem. Okay, I'm all in. Mayor Libby? Well, Mayor Libby says, I'm going to investigate this as a hate crime. Well, was it? Because the guy who hung the quote-unquote nooses said they're not nooses. That's part of my exercise equipment. Well, Libby says, well, I just don't know what you're saying. These have no place in our city at any time, but especially at this time. These incidents are going to be investigated as a hate crime. Meanwhile, the guy who put them up said, wait a minute, no, that's not what they are. I work out in the park. This is actually part of my exercise equipment. Well, I just want you to be clear here. I want you to listen to me. It doesn't matter, and I am quoting, regardless of your intentions or whoever put these nooses in our public trees. Well, I did, and they're not nooses. Hear me out. Whoever put these nooses in our public trees, in our sacred public spaces here in Oakland, oh, the intention just doesn't matter. Wait, the intention doesn't matter. Okay, well, I've heard facts don't matter. I've heard that we know the intent of the person who did it. We know that, but now intentions don't matter. So facts don't matter and intentions don't matter. The person stepping up and saying, I'm the one who did it doesn't matter. The guy who exercises in the park using those things, which is why he put them in the trees, they're not nooses. And by the way, he's a black man. That doesn't matter. It is a hate crime. The insanity that the Democrats brought onto the African American in the 1800s all the way through the 1960s, all of the double talk bull crap, all of the things they did to oppress black people, they're doing the same thing now. Why, I just don't know what you're talking about. Oh my. What do you say we sit here a spell and have some iced tea? No thanks, racists. I know what you're doing to African Americans, and it's despicable.